Hey guys, today I'm going to be comparing Demon Gaze Extra on the Nintendo Switch with Demon Gaze on the PlayStation Vita. Now I absolutely love dungeon crawlers, and some of the things I really like about Demon Gaze are the characters. There are some really cute characters that you can choose from when customizing your party. Of course, anything that has cat girls gets extra points from me. The story is actually pretty well done. Be prepared for a bit of turbulence. And I think synthesizing and upgrading items can be pretty rewarding in this game. Now it's worth mentioning that Demon Gaze Extra was also just released for the PlayStation 4, and previously the first Demon Gaze game was exclusive to the PlayStation Vita. So let's get straight to the comparison. On the Nintendo Switch, I will be playing the physical Asian release with the version 1.0.3 patch applied, and that's so we have full English text. On the PlayStation Vita, I'll be playing the North American version of Demon Gaze, which is basically the global edition. The very first thing I noticed between these two versions is an issue with audio balancing. If you leave the audio controls at default settings, it can be hard to hear the voices in Demon Gaze Extra, but leaving the volume levels at their default settings is perfectly fine on the PlayStation Vita. Here are both clips so you can hear the difference.
Once upon a time, in a certain place. Once upon a time, in a certain place. On a certain night. On a certain night, a man arrived in this world unnoticed by anyone. A man arrived in this world unnoticed by anyone.
Now, this is obviously a very easy fix. Simply adjust your volume levels in the options before you begin playing, and it won't be an issue. Overall, the graphics do look a little better in Extra due to the game displaying in a higher resolution. You can see it here pretty clearly in the character art.
Thank him instead.
But also, the textures in the dungeons seem to have higher resolutions as well. And we have animated hair and clothing details added. Now it's still running at only 30 frames per second on the Switch, same as the Vita, but this isn't a game that really benefits much from higher frame rates anyway. The Extra version brings with it a few quality of life improvements that are, in my opinion, very important for grind-heavy games such as this. The auto movement speed has been significantly increased, as you can see here. This will help you get into your next random encounter much more quickly. And we have a high-speed battle option. So these two things combined will save you a lot of time when trying to grind for items and experience. Now the PlayStation Vita, instead of the high-speed battle, it does have an auto battle button, but it just isn't as quick as the high-speed battle option on the Nintendo Switch. But probably my favorite improvement is the battle retry option. Before, when your party was defeated, you'd be taken straight to the game over screen. In Extra, you'll be asked if you would like to retry the battle or quit to the title screen. This has actually saved me a few times. Once, when I realized the battle was too tough for my party, I was able to retry and then flee from combat. Another time, I just changed up my battle strategy and I was able to overcome the opponent. So this feature will save you a bit of time in having to replay sections of the game if you haven't saved in a while. Another new feature to the game is the new Machina character class that unlocks about halfway into the game. At this point, you'll probably have already settled into a party that you're happy with, but what you get here is a well-rounded character that is level 20 with 40 points to distribute however you wish. If you want to dump that all into luck, strength, or evenly balanced, that's up to you. So if there's any area in your party that is lacking, this might be a good opportunity to balance things out. Also, after clearing the story, you'll be able to obtain unique items from additional playthroughs and use the new item synthesis feature to customize legendary equipment. Now, I will say there is one very helpful feature that is missing from the Nintendo Switch version that I use all of the time in the Vita version, and that is the Gazer memo network. So in the Vita version, when you head into a dungeon, it'll ask you if you want to connect to the network to send and receive Gazer memos. This will populate your map with helpful hints from other players. These will let you know where secret items and doors are hidden, if there is a tough boss up ahead, suggestions, and of course, because this is a bit of a pervy dungeon crawler, there are sometimes hilarious notes left behind by fellow degenerates. Alright guys, calm down. Yeah, that is true. She does have a nice butt. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, in the Nintendo Switch version, there are memos and chalk to write your own, but there is no network to connect to. So you would just be writing down tips and perverted notes to yourself, which is kind of pointless. It honestly seems a bit sloppy with how it was worked into the game, because in the help menu it says this: memos can be left on the map if you're connected to. And that's it. An unfinished sentence because there is no network to connect to. In the original game on the Vita, it says this: memos can be left on the map. If you're connected to network, you can see other players' memos as well. Now, I haven't tested the PlayStation 4 version of Demon Gaze Extra. I only know for sure that it isn't working for the Nintendo Switch. So if any of you are playing the PlayStation 4 version, please let me know in the comments below if the Gazer network is functioning in the PlayStation 4 version. That is, can you connect to see memos left by other players? Now, I don't know if they plan to fix this in the Nintendo Switch version with a future patch, or if they plan to just leave it as is, but at the very least, they should probably fix the help text. What surprises me most, actually, is that the Gazer network is still functioning on the Vita. A lot of Vita games have had online functionality shut down, but the Gazer notes are still working today. Now, one other difference that may be worth mentioning is the MSRP. Originally, the game retailed at $40 on the Vita. Now, the MSRP for Demon Gaze Extra is $60. Usually, ports like this will retain the original MSRP, and sometimes if the game is old enough, it will actually be cheaper than the original price. So I was a little surprised to see this game at $60, even for the digital version. Now compare this to a game like Genkai Toki 7 Pirates H for the Nintendo Switch, another great game, originally on the Vita. That is going to retail for $40. And that's not just a port, they're also translating the game to English. Now, of course, in this case, Vita games have become collectible lately, so you'd be hard-pressed to find a new Vita copy of Demon Gaze for MSRP, and you could also probably argue that there is inflation, which is true, but I still think it's something worth noting here. Now, all of that being said, all things considered, I think the quality of life improvements and small graphical enhancements in Demon Gaze Extra make it the version to get and overall better version of the game. Without the Gazer Memo network, you can always just look up some maps online to find out where the secrets are hidden. I am pretty happy to say it doesn't look like there's been any censorship at all, not even in the PlayStation version. As you may know, they've been a lot more strict these past few years, and a lot of what used to be okay on PlayStation isn't anymore. And yeah, that is about it. Now, this isn't a tips and tricks video, but this one's very important, so I thought it'd be worth mentioning. If you're playing this game for the first time, be sure to buy the Staff of Healing from the item shop as soon as possible. Optionally, you can also use the Spirit Staff that you get in the new free DLC, but you can use this staff to infinitely heal anytime you need to, either in battle or between battles. This will also help you get through any areas that may cause party damage. If you like dungeon crawlers, this one's pretty fun. There's also a Demon Gaze 2 for the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 as well. Hopefully, it'll eventually make its way to the Nintendo Switch. But that is going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, I will see you later.